morning. Good morning. How's everybody doing? Saturday. I hope you guys are doing well. I am doing pretty good. I'm having like a really good morning, which is kind of nice. I woke up before my alarm. I slept pretty good. I'm going to do some fun stuff today. I got a private today, and I'm going rock climbing with my friend, which I don't think I've ever been. Like I was in the Army Reserves way back forever ago. And we did like rappelling off of a tower. So, I've been in like gear before, but I can't remember if I've ever done any like real rock climbing before. So I'm excited. I mean, we're going like a rock climbing gym, but I'm excited. It's going to be fun. Going to be lots of fun. I have heard it's a fabulous workout. So I'm anticipating possibly being sore, but that's okay, right? All about building muscles. So, fun day today. How's everybody doing? How are you doing? If you're hopping on and you're watching this, tell me how you're doing. Let me know how your day is going. What do I want to say before we get started? Oh, yeah, so if you hop on, please say hi, wave if throughout the live you have any questions, thoughts, opinions, etc. Feel free to pop them in the chat. I will be checking in on it and commenting. If you're catching the replay, feel free to hashtag replay, leave a comment. I will come back and check. Yeah, that's all my stuff I want to talk about before we get started. I'm going to go ahead and dive in today because, as I said, I got a busy day. Good, but busy. So for everybody who's new to me, my name is Candace McDaniel. I'm a health and fitness coach for moms, and I really work on teaching consistency, teaching you how to stick with your healthy habits long enough to actually get results from them. So many of us know what we should be doing, but how do we actually make ourselves do it? Whole other process. So that is kind of what I like to talk about and help people with, because that is what has helped me the most. Once I started getting consistent and really started learning how to motivate myself, inspire myself, get myself to show up and do it, that's when everything kind of came together for me. I started losing weight. I've kept it off for almost 3 years now, going strong. So that is kind of my jam. So today's topic, we are going to talk about 5 tips for being more disciplined. And this is just 5 things that, really are going to help you show up and stick with it and do it and not kind of be on and off, hot and cold. I'm great for like a couple weeks and then I fall apart type of stuff. So a lot of that can come down to discipline. Now, a lot of people think discipline is just get up and do it, and you just get up and do it and you make yourself do it even if you hate it or etc. And that is really not what discipline is. That's just misery. Let's just call that what it is. That's just making yourself miserable. Discipline is about so much more than just making yourself do it even when you don't want to. A lot of it is how and why you make yourself do it, and setting up kind of almost systems in place that help you show up for yourself, if that makes sense. So I'll go ahead and just kind of dive in so I can kind of explain what I mean by that. Tip number 1, always have a plan. You always want to know what you're going to do. And part of why this helps with discipline is because it gives you some sort of framework to fall back on, some sort of goal to stick to, some sort of agenda for yourself, so that, excuse me, when you're tempted, when you're like, oh, but I'm tired, oh, but that sounds so good, oh, but I don't want to, you have something specific that you can be like, well, wait a minute, here's what I said I was going to do, right? You always have something to come back to bring yourself back to. When you're like, I should just be eating better. Okay, well, that is so vague and that's so all over the place that when somebody puts a donut in your face, you're like, I should be doing better, but what does better mean, right? Like your brain doesn't have anything to be like, but wait a minute, you planned oatmeal today, right? So discipline is doing what you say you're going to do. But if you don't say what you're going to do, if you aren't specific and clear about that, it leaves so much wiggle room. And then all of a sudden, okay, I picked the donut because, I had a million reasons why that donut sounded amazing. And just those vague thoughts over here about something else that I could do better. When you're busy, when you're rushed, when you have all the things going and you don't have a plan, it's really hard to kind of know what you should be doing instead. And like I said, discipline, doing what you say you're going to be doing. If you didn't say what you're going to do, if you weren't clear about it, you don't really have anything to fall back on. There have been so many times where I have been like, man, I'm tired. I don't want to get up and do a workout, or man, that pizza looks amazing, you know, but I'll be like, wait a minute, here's what I said I was going to do. Here was the plan, you know, that I made for myself. When I was feeling really good about my weight loss and my healthy habits and being fit and strong, here's what I decided was the best thing for me to do. And then it gives me be like, okay, that's what I should go do. That's what I'm going to do. You know, forget this. I know I'm having whatever kind of day, but I can show up for myself. Like, that's what discipline looks like. And it all starts with having a plan. You need a plan, okay? I'm going to tell you right now, if you're running around and you're not making a plan and you're wondering why you're not consistent and you're struggling with being disciplined and you're not getting the results that you want, you're not losing weight and your body's not changing and you don't have a plan, that is the first thing you need to be working on, because everything else comes off of that plan. So that's tip number 1. Tip number 2, keep that plan that we just talked about realistic. A lot of us think when we want to lose weight, want to get in shape, we have to do all the things. I have to be perfect on my diet. I have to be killing myself in the gym, etc. And here's the problem. That's so hard to stick with, right? Like, nobody can go 100% of the time. And for a lot of us, if we're brand new, especially in our healthy habit, you know, our healthy habits were not that great. So all of a sudden be over here like doing all the things, it's too big of a jump. And so maybe you're good for a little bit, but then you have an off day, or you're tired, or your kid has a a temper tantrum. You know, for my daughter's 11, soon to be 12, and so for her it feels more like a mental breakdown. We're past the temper tantrums and we're into the teenage drama. So, but when you have a tough day, then all of a sudden it all feels like too much. It feels too hard. It's overwhelming. Like, I don't have time to do all the things. And so then you kind of end up doing nothing, and your discipline just kind of slinks out the corner. Man, my metaphors are a mess today. Slinks away, hides in the corner. That is where I was going with that. Anyways, it's hard to find because you have so much that you're expecting of yourself, and what you're expecting of yourself is just unrealistic for maybe your schedule, for maybe your life, for maybe, you know, where you're at in your health journey. So you have to be realistic. Discipline comes from, right, doing what you say you're going to do. Well, you need to say what you're going to do is something you're actually capable of sticking with. I always use this example. When I was training for a half marathon, or when I was even trying to become a runner, right? Like, even before I had the idea, I could run a half marathon, and I was like, I would like to be a runner. I want to be somebody who runs. Like, for me, that was just this huge kind of like dream, because it felt unattainable. I thought people who could run, and especially run long distances, were like just the epitome of really healthy people. You know, I mean, and I still like greatly admire runners, and I still think that being able to run is just this amazing thing. But when I started, I could not run. I hated running. It was miserable. There were times that when I would run, I would, no joke, fantasize about like falling and maybe twisting an ankle or something. Not a serious injury, but just enough that I didn't have to do it anymore. So like, when I was saying I didn't like running, I'm not exaggerating. But it was a goal of mine. It was something that I wished I could do. And so I didn't start running. I didn't start running a mile. I didn't start running a half a mile, not even a quarter mile. I started speed walking, because that was realistic for me. And I knew in order to maybe one day be able to run, I needed to build up my cardio. And so I was so realistic about where I was at that I could start building that discipline. I could start building that skill of somebody who showed up to do cardio. And then from there, I could be somebody who showed up to do jogging intervals. And then I could jog for 5 minutes, and then 10, and then 15. And then eventually I got to that half mile. But so much of it started because I was realistic with my expectations of myself. You can't be disciplined to something that's too hard for you to do, if that makes sense. You know, you have to be realistic about your expectations. Challenge yourself, yes. Do something that's so far outside of what you're used to, what you know how to do, what you're comfortable showing up with. Then it's not even about discipline at that point. It's just about unrealistic expectations. So, tip 2, when you want to be disciplined, you need to be realistic about what you're expecting of yourself. All right, number 3, you need to add in some sort of accountability. It is too easy, if we're the only ones who kind of know what we're trying to do in our goals, to let it go. It's too easy to be like, tomorrow, another day, you know, maybe I'll be better later, maybe I'll be stronger later, I'll make up for this another time, because nobody knows, and we can let ourselves off the hook. So when it comes to accountability, like, whatever works for you, okay? whatever works for you. So if it's just telling a friend, hey, I'm going to try this program and I think it's kind of cool, I'll let you know how it goes, that's accountability right there, because now you know somebody else cares if you do it. You can post in the group, like, my Facebook group, please post in the Facebook group, hey, I'm trying this new thing. I love to even just post it here and keep me accountable. I had a friend who did that in another group I'm in. She was like, hey, she's trying this elimination diet because she's having some issues with some breakouts and stuff, some hives. And she's like, hey, I'm just posting it here for accountability. So somebody else knows, here's what I'm trying to do. And so that's somebody else that can be like, hey, how's it going? Hey, how's this going? How you keeping up with this? How's it working? But somebody knows that you're doing it, and so you're gonna feel the need to stick with it, even if sometimes you don't want to and you're tired and all the things come up, right? We're moms. We all know all the things come up. But having that extra accountability of just somebody who knows what you're doing is gonna help you, be more likely to show up for yourself. If that's not enough, get somebody doing it with you. Be like, hey, anybody want to do this with me? And then now you guys are doing it together and you're talking and somebody else is there with you who's going to see who's going to show up. I think that's like really, if we want to talk about accountability, that's my favorite way to do it, is doing something with somebody so somebody else is there with me on the journey. And I will promise you right now, every time I work out with somebody else, every time in my group we post meal plans and stuff, when I'm in it with somebody, I show up better. I always show up better because there is somebody there who's watching me, who knows if I'm doing my best, if I'm trying, if I'm giving it an effort, and I always do better. And that matters, right? Let me phrase that. It doesn't matter what gets you going. What matters is that you show up for yourself. I have a friend who really can't get into doing just workouts by herself. But she has found that if she, has a physically intensive job, she's getting the job done. If she has a friend that she's meeting up to exercise, she'll go do it and she'll work out because that other person's waiting for her. All right, that's the kind of life we're having. Obviously, we have a partner today. Welcome to real life, y'all. So, but those types of things will help you do it, and that's all that matters. It doesn't matter what keeps you showing up for yourself as long as you keep showing up for yourself. All right, so that's number 3. Number 4, know your excuses ahead of time. This is really important, and it's something that I don't think a lot of us think about, but has had a huge impact for me. Know the thoughts, the excuses, the reasons that you don't show up. So if you struggle with discipline, if you struggle with consistency, why? And if you're like, I don't know, then I want you to start paying attention. I want you to make these plans. I want you to keep them realistic. I want you to have an accountability partner. And if you are being there like, oh my goodness, I didn't do it, or if you are struggling to show up, then start paying attention to why. Are you too tired? Do you feel like you're too busy? Do you have too many things coming up? What are the excuses? What are the reasons in your head that you give yourself to make it okay not to do it? And when you know those, you start working on those thoughts. I'm too tired. Okay, is there a better time for me to do this? Do I need to take something off of my plate, right? Because my health and fitness is important. Losing this weight and being in better shape matters to me. And so somewhere I'm putting too much time into something that isn't as important as this. You know what I mean? Like, start working on those reasons. Don't just accept them. Don't just be like, oh, well, this is my life. If it's important for you to get in shape, to lose weight, to feel better about your body, to be stronger, to be more fit, to live a healthier life for your family, then you need to treat it like it's important, and you need to figure out, why am I not showing up, and start working on that. So if you're too busy, what are you spending time on that isn't as important as you getting in shape? If you're too tired, where's your time and energy going that isn't as important as you getting in shape? You know, there's something somewhere that's sucking your time and energy that probably you could put on the back burner as you start to figure out how to do this. If you're like, okay, well, I feel deprived, like my diet is miserable, I have so few foods that I can eat, start looking for a new diet. There is so many diets out there. There is no one way to lose weight. I'm gonna tell you that straight up right now. If there was, there wouldn't be so many things running around the diet industry. There's no one way to lose weight. So if you're on a keto diet and you hate it, try another diet. You know, if you're counting calories and it makes you hate your life, try a different way to lose weight, okay? There are a lot of ways out there. It's not just this one thing, because everybody's got different bodies, everybody's got different metabolisms, everybody's got different reasons why they gained weight in the first place. And so if what you're doing is like, this is terrible, then try something else, okay? But start looking at the reasons why you're not showing up. Do you hate the type of workouts you're doing? Are they not fun for you? Find new workouts. Do you know what I mean? Like, don't be stuck in this, well, this is hard, or I don't like it, or it's not working, and stop there. Find out why. Start exploring that and see what other ways that you can do it. You know, like I said, there are so many different ways to lose weight. There are a lifetime's worth of types of exercise and workout programs that you could be doing. There are more diets than I even knew, and I've done research on this stuff, okay? Like, there are so many diets out there. There's one way to lose weight running around out there that feels good for you, okay? So don't just accept, it's hard, I'm not showing up, and this is just how my life is. No, start exploring those reasons. Start looking into that and find the way that's better for you. Y'all saw that little head poking in the hallway back there. Clearly my children are waking up, so I gotta get this wrapped up. All right, tip number 5, have a positive perspective. So one of the things that I have found to have the biggest impact on my ability to be consistent, to be disciplined, to keep showing up is how I think about these things. How do I treat eating healthy and exercising? Do I treat it like a chore? Do I treat it like a punishment? Do I treat it like this terrible thing I have to do because I'm so ashamed of the shape that I've gotten into? Or am I treating it like something that's good for me, like a gift to my body, a gift to future me, a way to take care of myself? Y'all know where I'm going with this, right? Option A sucks and is miserable and is hard and makes us feel bad about ourselves and ashamed and guilty and frustrated. Option B makes us feel like every time we do something good, it's good for us and we're happy about it and we're so proud of ourselves, right? And that has a huge impact on how you show up and definitely how disciplined you are. So one of the things that I always try to remind myself is it's not that I have to eat this way. I don't have to exercise. I'm not forced to do this. This isn't something I should be doing. It's something that I choose to do because I know it's good for me. I choose it because it helps me, right? In the same way that I choose to do a lot of things in my life, right? Like, we always have a choice in how we spend our time and energy in our lives, and a lot of us get so sucked into, well, I have to do this and I should be doing this, etc. But try to remind yourself, this is a choice. You are choosing to lose weight because you want to be healthier. You want to live longer. You know, you want to feel better about your body. You want to be healthier for your kids. You know, all of those things. Those are all choices, and they're good choices. And instead of being like, oh, I have to do this, no, be like, I choose to do this. This is good for me. Because when I figure this out and I'm out there rocking the clothes that make me feel good and I'm living a happier life and I'm healthier and I have more energy and I'm just in a better mood all the time because I'm not always down on myself about how I look, I'm sure going to be glad that I did this, right? Like, get your mindset in that place of how this is a good thing for you. It's not a chore. It's not a punishment. It's not being deprived of all your favorite things. It's choosing healthy things that are going to give you a healthy life that you want, right? Like, I always remind myself, I'm doing this because of the life I want to live. Not because I have to, not because I should, because it's a choice to help me get to the life that I want to live, right? And when I come from it, from that perspective, from that place, it's so much easier to be disciplined. Because then, like I said, it's like, woohoo, I'm doing something good for me. I'm doing something that's going to make me happy one day. It might not feel amazing right this minute, but I know later I'm going to be so glad I did it. I'm going to be so happy and so proud of myself and so pleased with where I'm at, okay? So your perspective, how you look at your healthy habits and things you're doing can have a huge impact on how disciplined you are, because how you feel about it is going to determine a lot of times how you show up for it. So something to consider. All right. I feel like that's kind of a lot, so I'll do a quick little recap because I know I talk a lot, y'all, and I talk fast. So, 1, always have a plan. You need something to fall back on. If discipline is doing what you say you're going to do, you have to say what you're going to do first, right? 2, keep it realistic. Your plan needs to be something that you can actually show up for. So if it's too hard, if it's too many things, if it's too overwhelming, if it's just too much, then you're going to struggle to be disciplined no matter how bad you want it. So keep that plan realistic. Once you get good at that one, you can always upgrade later. You can always challenge yourself further in the future. But it's important in the beginning to build that habit, build that discipline, so you teach yourself how to do what you say you're going to do. And then from there, you can kind of grow and challenge yourself and try harder things that maybe will help you get to your goal a little faster, but you kind of got to get the train going first. 3, add in some sort of accountability. Somebody else should know what you're doing. It doesn't even matter who. Anybody you feel comfortable sharing this with is good enough, but share it with somebody. So it's not just this thing that you can kind of, quietly let go, quietly ignore, just let it fade because nobody else knows. And so it doesn't matter if you don't stick with it because nobody's going to know that you didn't show up. No, somebody should know. So you just kind of have that extra encouragement, that extra go to show up and get it done. 4, know your excuses ahead of time. Know the reasons why you typically don't show up for yourself, the reasons that are going to come up when you're tired, when you're stressed, when you're overwhelmed, etc., and start working on those. Start working on better thoughts to have. Start working on maybe changing some things in your life if you need to. But know why you typically don't show up and start working on that and start creating plans and methods and ways and habits to kind of get past that so that you can make the progress that you want. 5, have a positive perspective. Start working on why eating well, exercising, creating these healthy habits in your life isn't something that you should do or something that you have to do, but something that you choose to do, something that you want to do for yourself. Start working on that mindset. Start working on thinking about this stuff in a way that it's not a punishment, but it's a gift to future you. It's a way to help you get towards the life that you want to be living, okay? I hope that was helpful for y'all. Let me know. As I said, thoughts, questions, comments, concerns, please drop them in the comment section. I hope y'all are doing well. I'll talk to y'all soon. Bye.